There are 8 kinds of cards in the game, general types of cards. And I'm going to walk through the 8 types of cards, starting with the things that you'll find in the island and ending with the different cards that make up the skills of your agent, which are here. And they're not all in front of me, so when you see the thickness, it doesn't really tell you how many cards. This is just, I've kind of sorted it out a few to give you examples of what we're going to be looking at. So I'll start with what you really want to find, and that's going to be the specials. And you'll notice the specials have kind of a gold border, and that's the scientist and the space shuttle. You find the scientist, then you can win the game. If you can find the space shuttle, that lets you escape the island. Heroes. That's what you want. That's your ultimate goal. And there are special cards with the gold stripes. Then we have these cards with silver stripes, and they actually help you out. They're the secret cache. They're the things that were left behind by the previous team to help you out a little. You'll need it if you're playing for the first time. It'll help your game go smoother. If you've been playing a lot, if you are pretty experienced, you probably won't want them. They make the game they make the island a little less awful. Because the island is full of awful things, like traps. Here we have the trap cards, and you can see one thing in common with them right here, and that's that they all have blue bars going across them. So when you see the blue bar, you know you've encountered a trap. A lot of the traps will have this symbol on it, although we might work on the iconography, but this is what we have right now. And it's kind of hard to see in my camera. Maybe Jonathan will use his ninja graphic skills. There you go. But you see, that means that you test speed. And that means that one player rolls dice and wants to roll either greater than or less than the speed. So when you're determining your speed, that's what you've got to be ready for. You've got to watch out for these traps. They'll get you. Sometimes a trap just either has one player test the speed, and when that happens, it tells you in the text. You'll have to read the card. So traps. And I said there are 8 kinds of cards, so we've gone through 3. The specials, the secret cache, and the traps. Sometimes you'll find rooms. Oh, and let me go back. I should have said this before, but I'll say this with each other one. We want to be color blind friendly as well, so we also have these symbols in the bottom. So the specials have this symbol. Your secret cache has a nice little treasure chest symbol, like you found something good. The traps have a symbol of doom on the bottom. Let's get this in the camera. You see a little skull on a spike. So you can also tell by the little symbols. They're small, but you can tell when you see the symbols. So when you see this symbol, I was going to go to the rooms. Maybe Jonathan will cut that for me. So when you see this symbol, it's a little door. That means it's a door into a room that you might go into. And the label is kind of a brown-green. It's supposed to be brown. And that tells you that you're in a room. And rooms are all different. They all do different things. Some could be okay. Some could be pretty awful. You know, if you know the Island of Doctor Necreaux, you know that most of it's pretty awful. And if you're about to learn the Island of Doctor Necreaux, cut what I just said. Some of them are good, but some of them are awful. Sometimes it just matters how you roll your dice. Then you've got events. So events are things that happen on the island, and you can see with this little volcano symbol that it's an event. And you also see that they all have green borders. And the events do different things. They often test your powers, your abilities. Sometimes, like for example, here's one, volcanic tremors. And you roll a die, and it's sort of like the odds. Are you going to drop something in the lava or not? And it depends on your die roll. And with this die roll, without any skills to help me out, if I had an item, which we'll look at next, if I had an item in my stash, I'd lost it in the lava.
So you do find items along the way, and they have a yellow bar. So a yellow bar is a good thing. They might resemble monsters just a little bit in the fact that sometimes they have orange and red colors, but the monsters always have a combat value, and the items are just items. They have yellow bars, and they all help you. It's good things when you find them. They also have this little icon at the bottom. So next we have the monsters. You fight your monsters, you get your loot, and the monsters have an orange bar across, and that's how much it takes to, you have to roll that number to defeat it, or to hit it, to put damage on it. So if I roll a 7, I put damage on it. If I'm playing solo, the health of the monster is 1. The health of the monster is equal to the number of players. If I'm playing with 2 people, then the health of the monster is 2, and so on. And monsters also have their own text and a lot of keywords that you can look up. Some monsters do different things, so there's a lot of variety in the kinds of monsters you're going to encounter and what kind of awful things they do to you if you don't beat them. And then we have the character cards. So your character, your agent, is built. So then we have the agent cards. Your agent is built with 3 starting skills, and each skill has kind of its own little brand. So you have the cards that are psychic. These skills have to do with psychic powers. Like this one's clairvoyant. She can see what's coming. And the psychic cards have these sort of rainbow backgrounds, and they also say the word psychic on them. Concerned about the fact that there's this mirror effect and everything is backwards. I hope Jonathan can turn it around. The next thing that you have are your heroic cards. They have the light blue backgrounds. And the cards that you see, they're going to be the ones that get the backer funded art. So people who backed at that level, their images will be on these cards. Let's cut that. Let's pretend I didn't say that. The next card you have is the heroic. They've got these blue backgrounds, and they also say heroic on them. So the tech is your 3rd type, and they're all green background cards. And they give you usually abilities that deal with traps and things like that. And then battle, which obviously gives you abilities on the battlefield in combat with monsters. So you have these backgrounds, and I think that's kind of nice because it's easy to tell, like, if I were playing with these characters, then from over there you can see that I have a card that's good at combat, a card that's good at tech, and then a card that's heroic, and those tend to sort of be these sort of general help in all areas. And so that's the 8 kinds of cards. Well, there's 4 different kinds of skills that you can have to make up your character, and they have blue backs, and they are also marked with the health of the character. So you start with 3 skills, you start with 6 points of health. And then there are the items, rooms, monsters, special secret caches, events, and monsters, and your specials. So those are the cards in the Island of Dr.